injuries and the accidents in the Western world. And it has been made one of the important aspect for any of the maintenance program. So this program of in NABH you might have come across the HERA, Hazard Identification and Risk Analysis. So wherein we talk about the HERA to be adopted in the clinical and non-clinical areas. So LOTO is something which can be adopted in a non-clinical area so that you can avoid the accidents. So there are various energies which I was talking about. We talk about electrical energy. We also have hydraulic energy, pneumatic energy, like pneumatic rules are there. The motion of an object, kinetic energy, thermal energy, chemical energy and steam. All these things, most of these things are available. Steam, you have boiler which is there in the hospital. Okay, you have CSST is there. So various hazardous energies are there. When you are doing the servicing, you need to ensure that all the energies are being properly identified. So for each of the energy, you have a different strategy for LOTO. So I don't want to go into these details because our presentation is not intended to the maintenance people. It is intended to the managers, I guess. Am I correct in my understanding? Or all of them are maintenance people? How is it? What is the group audience? Both of you can tell me, because then accordingly I can go to that detail. Okay, well, in whatever, whether it's a maintenance team or the others, the whole summary will give an idea for them that LOTO is very, very important. So we'll go through the various slides of the presentation. So the usage of the LOTO, lockout and tagout, for electrical is different. So for a mechanical, the procedure is different. Like mechanical, what we do, wherever the moving objects are there, we are going to lock the moving arms. So there has to be method for doing it. For electrical, we have your switchboards are, the MCBs are there, we are going to put the locks. So that even if somebody would like to down it, it is not possible. So you have a strategy which can be used, whether for pneumatic, whether for chemical. So these strategies are to be used based on the application of the equipment. In that equipment, which energy is being used. It's not that a LOTO for all the equipment same strategy is there. No. For each of the equipment, as a part of their maintenance, a LOTO has to be, SOP has to be derived. So that will cover what are the energies which are there, how to take care of it will be coming. So the following are some of the common situations where LOTO is being used. Entering the areas with a moving machine parts, fixing the machines which are clogged, damaged or missing parts, performing the electrical work. Okay, you are trying to, some spanner has gone down and you are trying to go down and check and somebody has switched it on. So these kind of scenarios can happen. So so LOTO protocol will ensure that these things are being addressed. Okay, so this is very, very important step for any person, any organization who would like to implement the LOTO strategy. First is a notification. When, for example, now let's say that I am trying to do a maintenance of the panels which are there, in the feeders which are giving, for example, let us say the feeder which is giving the power to your operation theatre. So I am trying to do the maintenance of the feeders. So I need to do a notification that all the people who are connected with that, it is not only to the maintenance people, to the people who are there who are going to be affected. First I have to do a notification. For example, I tell the operation theatre that between this time to this time there is a preventive maintenance is there, so that you are going to be affected. Similarly, there are shift engineers are there. So the shift engineers have to be told that okay, there is a preventive maintenance, there is a planned maintenance is going to happen, and you need to know that this is going to be area which is going to be affected. Then visual communication, put a signs, safety tapes and other visuals so that people will know about it. That's very, very important because you are dealing with the many people. So the people who are the technicians, supervisors and the managers. So you need to be very clear what exactly who are supposed to be communicated. Then for that particular the LOTO, you need to identify the energy. Okay, from where what is this? For example, LT panel, the power is coming from the HT. So we have identified the energy. For example, similarly, if it is the CSST, so you have to identify the energy. Steam is coming from a boiler, electricity is coming from the electrical panel. So you have to identify the energy. So then, how the energy to be removed? Because when you are trying to do the preventive maintenance or a breakdown maintenance, you need to ensure that the how to remove so that accidentally it can be not switched on. But there are some residual things will be left. For example, if there is a capacitive circuit, so then there is an energy stored. Accidentally you touch, it's going to discharge. There is a steam which is already there in the chamber, which can be, so you need to discharge those things. Then secure all the moving parts which are there. Suppose there are some moving parts are there, which has to be done. Then you put the tag and lockout. It has to be put. So then you put, then check whether it is really been done for that particular or it's for something else it has been done. Then after doing all these precautions, you start doing the preventive maintenance or breakdown maintenance. So these are the steps which need to be taken by the maintenance team when they are going to adopt the lockout tagout procedure. It's not necessary that all the equipments for all the categories will remain same. It again depends on the, as I said, the energies which are being given to that equipment. It can be chemical energy, it can be a mechanical energy, it can be electrical energy. So if you have to put it the pictorial way, so this is how the lockout and tagout for a safety which need to be there. We are identifying, notifying, then turning off, then locating the source, isolating it, putting the tags, then testing, checking everything is there. Then you are performing the required task, and then finally you are removing it. So if you do this thing faithfully, then the risk of accidents happening is being negated. So people get confusion. What is lockout and tagout? The difference is lockout utilizes the physical locks to prevent the employees from turning the equipment back or otherwise activating the energy. Okay. Tagout involves the use of the tags as a type of communication. For example, there is a panel here. I am doing the lockout and tagout. What I will be doing is I will be using a lock and I will be putting the lock on it, and that lock I will be keeping with it. But I will also put a tag, put with a name, my name with picture, why it is been switched off and when it is likely to be switched on. So that if somebody comes and looks into it, he knows, okay, there is a LOTO which is going on. So it means in that particular equipment, the preventive maintenance or the breakdown maintenance is happening. So this visualization and communication and actual putting a lock is very, very important, so that this will avoid the accidental, so the switching on. So these are the 6 steps which need to be looked into. So preparation, shutdown, isolation, isolating the power, actual lockout and tagout, and stored energy check, whether this has been there, and isolation verification, re-verifying. Because for example, there are, if you go to the panels which are there in the electrical, there are so many MCBs are there, switches are there. I am intending to switch for an operation theatre, but we have put a tag for our ICU. Is that possible? That is very much possible. If that happens, then what will happen is my whole idea of putting a LOTO tag will be of no use, because when somebody is doing it, actually the power is coming to the circuits which are going into the operation theatre. So those things can be checked as a final verification. So the basic intent of this is cutting the risk of reducing the flashes, keeping the machine disengaged. So these are all the points which are being the outcomes which will help to improve the safety with the help of lockout and tagout. So I am giving an example. So if this can be something which can be easily done in your organization, I am taking in one example of a LT panel room again and again, but it can be applicable. So you can see here there is a visual, the signages which have been put, lock out the equipment before entry, so that the question of somebody forgetting or doing a shortcut is avoided, so that you have a completely display that okay, I need to do a lockout before I actually do the servicing. So this is something good practice which can be adopted in the organization. When you are doing a LOTO, you need to, as a part of your SOP, you need to enter the details. Documentation is also important. So though in India there is no authority which will actually do the certification for the maintenance, the management, but if you go to abroad, so there are the documentations so which are to be carried out. One of the document is what date the LOTO was applied, okay, who has done it, and signature of the in charge, the supervisor or the manager. When it was removed, and again is signed by the supervisor, so that it will give the complete trail of the time the LOTO has been applied to the time it has been taken out. So this is one example of the LOTO which has been applied in of the other industry, wherein you can see, so E1 indicates the electrical lock which has been put, then P1 indicates the mechanical. So there are various locks and tags which have been used, so based on the application and the intent of the equipment. So this is how the locking is being done, an example, and the tagging is being done, so that you get to know that there is a LOTO means there is something is happening in that. So for mechanical areas where, for example, chillers are coming, the boilers are there, this is how the LOTO has been done and the tagging is being done. So for the MCBs, this is the example where the LOTO has been applied, wherein we know that this is when it is being done, and the lock, usually the lock is going to be kept by the person who is doing the maintenance of that, so that accidentally it's not been put in the chest stand and somebody comes and opens it. And this is how the tags are to be put. So as a part of the LOTO kit, the tags will be there and tags will be used for communication. For the mechanical, where the walls are there, so everywhere, so there is a different way, so that you cannot turn on the knobs. So this is the way it is being done, where the walls are involved. And if it's a medical gas is something which in most of the hospitals are there, wall boxes are there. Okay, when you want to do is, for example, there is a leakage of the outlet, so you want to do the servicing. So then you can apply a LOTO so that particular wall can be isolated. This is very much pertaining in a hospital scenario. So similarly, the butterfly walls which are being used in the chiller plants and all these things. So there are different, the apparatus, jigs and fixtures and the hasps which are being used, which are specific to that particular intended application. So for cylinders which are being used, there also you can use the specific the LOTO. So now the whole idea of telling this is, you need to adopt the LOTO for your day-to-day maintenance practice. So that's the whole intent of making a presentation. So what can be done is, there are LOTO kits which are available. You can approach the service providers. They will provide a LOTO kit, and they also have the trainers who are being trained on the LOTO. They will come and teach all your people how to use the specific LOTO for specific application. So there is the chest stand which will be keeping all the different blocks for a different application that has to be maintained when you are adopting the LOTO. So the LOTO station has to be created, and there is a toolkit when you are, because it's not that all the equipments are at the same utility area. It may be at somewhere else. a toolkit with the LOTO is being kept so that can be carried for the maintenance fatigue. And this is a typical one of the tools which are available as a part of the LOTO. So whole idea of having the LOTO is to prevent the accidents for the maintenance people while preventive maintenance and doing the breakdown maintenance. But the practice of LOTO has been adopted in one of the hospital, Virginia Mason Hospital in US. So they are one of the lean hospital. So they have adopted a best practice of other industry into the clinical setup. So you can also go back and see concept of LOTO where it can be applied in the clinical areas, so that it can be again a fail-safe environment for example, the equipment is used on the patient or equipment is used by the employee, how it can be, LOTO practice can be done. It may not be necessarily only for a maintenance, the concept can be borrowed and it can be used. I have one YouTube link if it can be run. Okay. You can do it. There are 4 scenarios.
Yeah, working in here.
So it had 4 scenarios basically. So I don't know why it has not come. But anyway, the message is the LOTO practice has to be followed, and the training for the LOTO has to be done, so that this YouTube was telling, though the LOTO is being used, but been adopted, but not properly been trained. So even if with a LOTO, if it has not been trained, then your intent is better. So have a LOTO system adopted, train the people and start using it, and as a quality team, try to do a safety audits and check whether the LOTO practice is being used. And you can see, maybe you can compare whatever the incidents related to the accidents in the maintenance before LOTO and after LOTO, and you will get the results if people are using it properly. I think with this, I would like to conclude. If any questions are there, I'm happy to answer.